Good morning, everyone. This is Kevin Karstead, or I'm Kevin Karstead, the fearless leader of our Eden United Methodist Church Respite program, um, and very proud of being such. I thought it was time to kind of give back, give a little respite update to the congregation and to anybody interested in knowing a little bit what's going on. We haven't been in touch too awful much over the last, directly over the last couple of years actually. So, and time for a quick update. I did a little bit of back of the envelope, literally back of the envelope calculations, just to give you a scope of what's going on. We have roughly 60 or so volunteers that participate at various parts of the group in the organization. About half, maybe two-thirds, are members of the congregation of the Eden United Methodist Church, and I'm very proud to be working with all of them. But another half or third is a group of people from all over the community, from every church, from every street, from every neighborhood, from every area. People that you would see at Surefine walking down the street at the Corn Festival or whatever. And I'm extremely proud of that this is really a community effort. It's housed here in our building, but it's really a community effort. Again, some of these statistics, which I think are great. We started in middle of 2015. Since then, we've had roughly 50 sessions of respite. There are 4-hour sessions from 10:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. We served roughly 500 people, individuals in those different sections. We probably had probably close to 40 different guests that we've served over that. The people coming in and being served by us. That means probably at least that many or double that number of respite caregivers that got a break for that period of time. Roughly about 2,500 hours of respite that we provided. Again, to that group of people that were sitting there, but also that same number to respite people or people that were able to do other things. And usually it's one or two or three caregivers within an organization, so you can get an idea of the scope of numbers. We have roughly in each month's session about 250 man hours that are put into the prep, the cooking, the serving, the respite itself, the planning in that, the music that comes. Roughly 250 man hours or person hours, let's be correct here, for it. That puts it so since we've started, we've served our community with roughly 12,500 hours of service. And I just am floored by some of that. So I want to thank my church family. I want to thank my entire community family for all of this great humanitarian service. But that's not the big part of it. The people part of it, the service, the human side. I want to share a little bit about that. Yeah, I get a little bit emotional with this. I'm sorry. I just want to share a couple of stories with you. One story, one of our favorite guests who had been with us from the very beginning. She unfortunately passed away at 100 years old this past couple of months, or this past fall. Her caregiver, her daughter, and that is a wonderful woman. She about 2 years ago, before COVID, she was late to pick her mother up, and she came in to me. It was about 10 or 15 minutes late. No big deal. She came in to me. Her face was all red. She was apologetic. She was sad that she comes all the way from Kaisertown, from in Buffalo, to bring her mother to our respite program. Long story here, so I'm going to make it short. But she said, "Kevin, I'm so sorry I'm late. I was browsing at Bray Miller's. I was just looking through all the stuff. I totally lost track of time. I look at my watch and I had to run through checkout and leave bags and leave stuff and come and get mom. I'm so sorry." Again, before COVID, I hugged her and I said, "That's exactly what this is for you to forget about things for a little bit and be able to rest assured that we're taking care of your mom safely. No problem." And it was just one of those things. Another story I want to share. We were shut down for 15 or 16 months during COVID from the beginning. We just started back up in July. And some of the respite volunteers said, Kev, we got to do something more. Can we do something more? Well, one of our respite volunteers calls our guests, calls our caregivers once or twice a month through that whole thing, just to touch base with them and to say, hey, how you doing? Is there anything we can do for you? Listen to them, and that fantastic service. Another group said we could write cards. We could write cards to them. So this whole group of people started writing multiple cards a week to all of our caregivers or all of our guests, addressed them right to our caregiver or our guest. I had one woman said, Leo looks forward to those things. He gets them 2 or 3 times a week. He walks out to the mailbox just to see if he got a letter. And that. Now, Leo, unfortunately, is now in an assisted care facility and he's not joining us. But all through COVID, he was so excited to get these cards. A group sent out delivered Christmas trees, decorated Christmas trees, small little decorated Christmas trees to all of our guests all over the community. They're in Buffalo, they're down in Irving, they're in Holland, they're all over the place. Did it upon themselves to come up with that program, called each other and coordinated the whole thing. That's amazing. We came back after respite, or after the lockdown and everything in July, and we came back, and we really agonized over whether we should come back and how do we come back, and we looked at other programs and what they were doing and how they were doing it, and we said, well, we can do that too, and masks and not masks and that. We made sure that everybody was vaccinated before they came back. All of our volunteers were vaccinated. All of our guests had to be vaccinated. There was actually 1 or 2 that were not vaccinated because they couldn't, because of health reasons and that, so they couldn't attend, unfortunately, but we had to kind of draw the line there and that. So all of our volunteers are fully vaccinated. We're actually polling now to see who is vaccinated and has had the booster, just in plans for things. We've had to change and massage our plans. In September, we had a kind of a kick up in it. So what we did, we decided that now again, we have to wear masks in the church in general, but our one-on-ones and our volunteers and that didn't have to wear it once they were into the fellowship hall where we had it, because a lot of our guests think about it. They don't know what's going on, and it would be very difficult for them to put a mask on, let alone wear it for 4 hours. So we changed our protocol a little bit, and we picked our guests up out in the parking lot and brought them in so that the caregivers didn't have to come into the church, lessening exposure to everything. So we're modifying things each time. We're actually probably going to have to modify for this coming month even further because of the new outbreak and that. So we're checking on that. Anyone who's not comfortable participating, either a guest or a caregiver or a volunteer, there's no pressure to do it, and that. So we really are working very hard to make sure everybody is safe and comfortable. We evaluate every time. Every month, the group of us is evaluating. Should we keep going? Should we not? Is it past being safe? Is it whatever? When we modify our situations and we agonize over this, and it's very 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 hard to say let's keep on going when some of us are thinking maybe we should stop at that. I attended a webinar last week, and a lot of the information was about respite and around respite care. And they shared some statistics, and I don't have the exact statistics, but I was absolutely floored by some of them. The percentage of caregivers who have had to quit jobs to be the caregiver is so high. The percentage that have had to go into debt or sell assets to be able to stay home and service and be with their loved one in that. And this is the one that floored me. It was a high percentage, over 50%, that of caregivers who have contemplated suicide in recent months, and how they do the survey and that. And that one just about took my heart right out of my chest, especially coming into the holiday season where that kind of thought process comes into a lot of people's hearts and is especially more difficult. We look at this and we say, some people might say, how can you do, we ask ourselves every month, we ask ourselves, can we or should we keep going? And when something like that hits you, and you understand the magnitude of what we're doing, this isn't just a nice thing to do. This is a necessary thing to do. We can say, how can we not? So, in closing, and I'm sorry I'm taking so long to do this, but I want to thank you all for supporting us, for loving us, for being God's hands and feet in our community, and thanking you for supporting us through the service that we provide to the folks that we serve that come in and enjoy their time with us, and the caregivers that need us so badly. So Pastor Kate, I yield the rest of my time. Thank you very much, all.